Effective January 1st, 2024, we will introduce new Unity runtime fee that's based on game installs. Hello guys, my name is Fire or Chevon, my actual name. I'd like to introduce you to how to use Godot, or the differences between Godot and Unity. So Unity uses the component system and Godot uses a node-based system. And I could go over that real quick. So Godot has both nodes and resources, and each node is a derivative of the base node. So for example, node here has control, node 2D and node 3D. And each one of these are inherited by stuff such as in control, you have a button, you have a line edit, label, and text direct. Those are just some examples. And for node 2D, that's for everything in 2D. You have sprite 2D, character body 2D, and collision shape. And then for node 3D, you have the mesh instance, and you have character body 3D and collision shape 3D. And resources now, you have stuff such as the mesh, the scripts that you write, and the textures that goes into the sprite 2D and text direct. And then materials as well. Those are actually resources as well. And then you have audio files. And for audio files, you have a corresponding node 2D for it and node 3D. So you have an audio file, audio player 3D, audio stream player 3D, and audio stream player 2D. Then positional nodes are nodes such as animation players and timers, for example. And we're gonna go over a few stuff in the editor itself. So let's go back and download it. I already have it downloaded, so you could hit download latest. You could grab the Godot engine main one or the .NET version, which is for C# support. Most of you guys would probably want to learn that, but I don't use it that often, so we're gonna just go with the GD script for now. Alright, I already have it downloaded, so let's jump in the project. Alright guys, when you first open Godot, you'll be greeted with this page, and these are all my projects that I'm working on, or other projects from other users. Here you could check like example projects and advanced movement system. These are all made by other people. So to create a new project, you could go right here, new project. You could give it a name, example project. Save that to the desktop, that folder, and set it to forward plus. This is for like all the advanced features for games, for example, mobile, obviously for mobile, compatible for older mobile or web. So let's just go with the default for now. Okay, so when you open a project, you have the regular options up here. You have the scene view, that's right here, be a list of all the nodes that you're currently working with. You have the file system view. So this res folder is actually the actual folder that you created on the desktop. So it's this actual folder here, example project. It's all the contents of it, plus the hidden file, Godot. This is very important, one of the most important files. And over here, you have the properties window for any node that you have selected. So since I do 3D mostly, let's just select 3D scene. So I could just call this main. So this is a node 3D that I've selected. So this shows the 3D engine. So if you wanted 2D stuff, you could create a node 2D and you'd be working in 2D engine. And the 2D engine, the Y is down. So positive down, Y, negative up. So let's go back to 3D. So here we have the base node 3D. And that just has a transform, so rotation, scale, etc. And visibility, on or off, and processing options, and that's from the node. So that's the base node, and it inherits. Let's first create a flat plane. So we could use something called a CSG box or CSG plane, either one. So let's go CSG box. These are like prototyping textures, prototyping meshes. Whenever you want to make something really quick, let's scale it up by there, or let's just do it here. So 50 by 50. And could enable collision. So CSG shape. Under that, you have use collision. And you could set the collision layer. We'll leave all those for defaults. Now, let's save that scene. So this is saving this entire scene. Let's now create a character. So we need to add node. The plus sign adds a node. Could look through all these nodes. Remember we had node 2D. They're all the 2D stuff. And node 3D for all the 3D. And then these are all non-positional nodes. So such as animation player that I mentioned before and audio stream player. And node 2D actually has audio stream player 2D, which moves along with the camera, or based on where the camera is. Let's go in node 3D, look for character body. Let's just type it in. And this requires a shape, collision shape. But for us, we need to actually add a mesh instance. So collision shape 3D. Could go up a bit so we could see what's going on. Could press the F key to focus on something. So the collision shape doesn't have an actual shape. So let's add one and use Godot capsule shape. There you go. Now it has a shape. Then we need a visual instance. So that would be a mesh instance. So let's go back in here, say mesh instance. See? You have different versions, but we'll just do the basics now. Then real good, use same old capsule mesh. Everyone's familiar with that guy from Unity. Save him it. Let's rename this to player. And now, if you want to add a script to the player, you could hit this button here, or you could right click on it and add script, attach script. So let's just go by here and it renames it for you to player, and you could inherit all the objects from the template. So let's just do that for now. So here we have, it grabs the gravity, or I should do this from scratch, right? So everyone could understand what's going on. Let's do that. Let's do it from scratch. So let me delete all of this and leave this for there. So any script that you create and attach to a node, it needs to extend that node. So the player is a character body 3D, so it needs to extend it because you're extending the functionality. You're adding your own implementation. So each node has a few functions. You have func ready. This is when the node is loaded into the scene. Then you have func process. This is for updating every frame. And you also have physics process. This is an update after the physics is updated. This can be before or after. It's recommended to use this whenever you're working with rigid bodies sometimes. So in most cases, character body is technically a rigid body. Not really. It's recommended you just use it here if you're gonna interact with physics body. Put it that way. Now you have stuff such as enter tree. So func enter tree. So this is when the node is just loading it up. And you have exit tree as well. So func exit tree. This is when the node leaves the scene. But for now, we're gonna work with just physics process. Let's delete this. So there's a few things you need. You use the @ symbol when you want to export a variable, for example. So let's export for, say, speed. Set that to something 5, and it's in meters per second. So 5.0. And you could cast it. You could either use this since it's been exported, it recognizes that this is a float. Or you could actually just explicitly write float here, right after the, or whatever that's called again. And you could also use onReady as well. Remember that function onReady? That gets called right after this. Right before, after the onReady is called, these gets called. So var, say you want to load something, for example, let's say bullet. You'd say equals preload, and maybe you have a bullet somewhere in there. But let's get over it. Let's not do all that yet. So to get input, let's first go to project settings, input map, add action. So right here you could add whatever input you want, and you could see built-in actions as well. Shows everything that's already pre-made. So we need up, down, left, right, and maybe jump, for example. Then you could select a plus there, and you could, it's listening now for input, so let's use W key for up. Then for down, just press S, and left, A, right. And for jump, let's just use. Alright. Now could say var input equals input dot get vector, and you need to do this in order of left, right, up, down. So left first, then right, and we need up, down, sorry, down, then up. Oops, up. We'll just print that out for now. So let's say print put, and this returns a vector2. Save, and over here let's add a camera 3D. So camera, I'm not gonna code any camera logic. I'm just gonna move it somewhere that it can see. Back here. Could press preview here to see what the camera is looking at. Got the blur moving. Alright, let's load that scene up. Now you could look in the console down here. Here I'm pressing right and left and up, down. Then I'm pressing down and right. Already normalizes it for you. So it won't print 1, it print normalized version of that. If you notice, the scene is dark, so we also need to add a environment node. And right up here, the toggle preview and toggle preview environment could actually add that environment to the scene, then add that sun to the scene. Here they are right here. I'll go over all of these in a bit. So let's just, alright, let's just do that now. So you have the select icon. This allows you to select anything. Then you have the move icon. If you have something selected, it just locks it into moving. So you can't do anything else other than moving it around. So that. Then rotation locks it into rotation. You only can rotate it. And scale locks it into scaling. You can scale it. Then you have the show list. This, for example, if you have multiple things in an area and you click on that spot, it'll show everything that you can select. And you choose whatever one you want to select, and it picks it. And you could lock an object. So for example, let's lock the light so we don't want it to move. Just click on the lock key. So now that's locked. I can't actually select that in the scene. I could still select it from here. So if I find out where that was, I don't know, something up there, hide it on there. So let's unlock it and move it up here. Let's lock it again. Alright, so next on the list is group selected nodes. Don't actually use this. Right. Remember now. So next on the list is group selected nodes. So this groups every node that's a child of the current node that you select. So for example, if I click this node here, I can't select these nodes in the scene unless I'm over here, obviously. For example, if I want to click on the player and move him around, I can't click anything else other than this node. For example, let's turn it off and see what happens. I could select everything else. So now I'm selecting the collision shape. That's good to have on at some point. So let's keep that. This now is for local space. Like for example, let's go with the floor for example. To change it to local space. So let's move this up and rotate it. You notice the indicators are actually in world space. If I press local space now, they rotate to match with the actual object. That's what that's for. And let's undo. Then snapping. That's obviously snapping to snap. So this is snapping, I think it's by 1 meter. And you could change it in this snap option. That should be somewhere here. Configure snap. Go snapping by 1 meter. And rotation snap and scale snap. Alright. And that should be it. That's the camera again. Check camera override. And I already show you guys these. So these are only usable when you don't have something in it. I won't go over that in the video. It's gonna get too long. So let's go back to the script. So a character body has its velocity already created. So it's a velocity. It's already inside of the character itself. So all we're gonna do here is say input and times that by speed. Remember, this is world space, so we're not really doing it in the right way, but just for the sake of doing it. Then you need to call something called move and slide. There's other ones, but this is the main one for all characters. And you also need to set up gravity. So let's do that really quick. So make a gravity function, gravity variable for gravity. Set that to negative 9.18, the standard. Set that as a float as well. It's not really necessary. Once it's set, but you couldn't always change it. So say the velocity or better yet, let's change this up. So var let's call it new velocity equals vector 3. So we have to set new velocity dot y be decremented by gravity times delta. And then go back here, save velocity or new velocity dot x equal to input dot x times speed. Do that for Y or Z, I mean. Put a Y times or negative speed in this case because Z is on a negative. Like when you're going away from the camera, it's negative. Or it depends on the angle. Then move and slide. And you have a function to check if it's on floor too. So if is on floor equals false, then we do velocity Y. Else we want to set it to be 0 or some really small downward value. That's what I like to do actually. Negative 0.1 or 0.001. There was an issue back in the day when the is on floor wouldn't get checked. Sometimes I wouldn't be touching, but I just got used to doing this instead of setting it to. Now I could run, and the character isn't moving because I am not setting the velocity. So velocity equals that new velocity. Oop. Going up. That's because the increment. And this should be outside actually. That's it. Now let's do a jump. So right here we could say if input dot is action just pressed jump. Let's say new velocity dot y equals to, call it jump velocity. Oops. Velocity. Create that. Export as well. Export for velocity to be say 10. Made out of float. Oh, and that's that. And if you want to check collisions, let's do that as well. So we need an area for that, area 3D. Put that somewhere and guess where it is. And we add a collision shape to that. Requires a collision shape. Let's check the errors. Collision shape. And this recent here, I'll show you the recents. The last couple of stuff we used. Make that a box shape. Get pretty big. Could attach a script to it. And now we're gonna use something called a signal. So right in the properties window, you could switch to the node. Get all its signals are here. You could create your own signals as well. So we want to check if body entered, and that would be we're choosing where we want, what script we want to put this signal on. So we're gonna put it on itself. The print body dot name. That's the name of the node. That would be player. Now we could run this again. Yep. So player and it recognized the floor as well, so it played that color. Printed the actually happening. Alright, that should be it for this video. For export stuff, come here, project, export. This is where you add the versions you want. There's no console support directly, but you could get other developers to do it for you, like Git.mo, and there's others. So I'm on Linux, so let's do a Linux export real quick. And you have to download the export templates. But could show you that, but let's do that. Go back here. Manage export templates. I currently have this one installed, and right here just grab the other versions. I don't want to do all this, but it's a hassle. So let's export it. Oops. Project. Export. Linux. What do we want to call it? Example game. Runnable. And a bunch of options here, but you could find tutorials and all of this. And let's just export project and export it inside of that same project. Let's not use it. That should be it. I could close on this project now. We have a actual project ready. Where is he? Here he is. No main scene defined. That was my mistake. Let's open back the project. project settings. Or instead of that, I could just press the play key here. Select current. Go. Or if you wanted to do it here, you could go to config, run main scene, and choose the scene. Now let's export it again. Export for project. Right, that one. Doug. Alright, so now we should be good. Example project. This one here. So these are the two files that I exported. Pack file that contains the data and the executable file. So now I have a complete project. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And want to learn in detail GD script, I have a bunch of tutorials that goes over different concepts and features of the language. Could take a look at my channel. I have a playlist there somewhere. I might leave it in the description. Alright guys, take care.